Hello, everyone. Welcome to Coming Down. My name is Nathan, and for the first time ever, I'm not joined by Matthew. As you all are probably doing the same, we are not getting together and we're not doing anything in person. We also aren't set up for Skype, and we could, but, we kind of like just the feel of this show of getting together in person, so I think that's kind of where we're at right now. We are only a mile apart from each other, but not meeting up, not doing recording. Just to kind of fill everyone in as to what's going on with the show, we've got 3 episodes in the can, this one plus 2 more, so those will come out, and we'll do these weird intros with just me, and then I had Matthew record something on his phone and send that over, so I'm going to drop that in at the end of this so you can hear how he's doing. I had an idea to keep the show going, or just as some additional content. If anyone out there just has a story or wants to talk about anything, record it on your phone and email it to us, and maybe I'll just put out a collection of just everyone's little experiences with this whole thing. I don't know if anyone's going to have anything interesting, because I don't. I haven't left my house in quite some time now. Gone on a grocery run, which was bizarre because everyone's just sort of side-eyeing each other and acting really uncomfortable, but we got through it, and and it's just been extra weird, bringing home the groceries, and then we have to sanitize everything. It just takes all this extra time to be extra cautious and, shed all my clothes at the doorway and put them in the wash, and it's just it's just a very strange time. But just to let everyone know, I'm doing good. My job is taking care of me, so I've been able to work from home, and it looks like I'll be able to do that for quite a while still, and they're going to find projects for me, as well as I've got some PTO that I can take that was gifted to me from my job. So, yeah, I'm doing fine. It's just so bizarre. No one's ever lived through this, This is unlike anything we've ever experienced, and I'm sure you're all feeling that. And man, it's actually so funny because you can probably listen to the intros of the last, 4 or 5 episodes leading up to this, and they all just spell out this really weird timeline of us sort of being aware of it, and then shit gets real, and then shit is very real, and shit is still getting more real by the day. So I just hope everyone out there is staying safe, and I hope everyone's doing good. And if you need anything, please hit me up. Email me, tweet at me, at comingdownpod at gmail.com. But yeah, also, please, just record anything if you want to talk about this, or just your feelings on the matter, or if you've just encountered any weird thing. Record a little 5-minute thing or 10-minute thing and send it over, and maybe I'll compile those all together into an episode, and we can just kind of get a glimpse into everyone's lives staying at home. And yeah, I don't know when the end is in sight. I don't think anyone does, but hopefully sooner than later we will be back here recording some new content for y'all. And if that doesn't happen for a while, it looks like the show will probably go on a hiatus, much like the rest of the world. So we'll all just be biding our time together. But I hope you enjoy this episode and the couple that are to follow. And this is just super weird. I'm really used to having someone to bounce off of here, but so I'm just gonna leave it there and say let's go.
Hey everybody, it's Matthew. I'm recording live from the Matt Cave. Welcome to Isolation Cast. Hope you're all holding up okay out there. I myself am on my second scotch of the day. Today I got the news that I was laid off. I have been furloughed until June 1st, so for those of you out there who are in the same boat, cheers. There's not much to set up for the episode this week. I'll just say that this is one from when I was in high school, and I hope you enjoy it. Stay safe, everybody. Love you all. Bye now.
So yeah, this is one from high school.
Nice. High school ones are the best.
Yeah, and it's kind of a departure from our usual fare. Like the kids that I was hanging out with in this story, like, oh, thanks, motorcycle. Even fucking backfired. Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah.
So yeah, the kids I was hanging out with in this story, the kids I was hanging out with were all drama kids, and we had a lot of fun. We did a lot of weird shit, but we were doing a whole lot of drugs. Like, there were some of us who smoked weed. Like, we even like tripped a few times and like hung out with some of these kids while they were sober. But like, it was pretty uncommon for the theater kids to like just be loadies. You know, we were mostly just doing weird ass shit all the time.
Loadies?
Like, yeah, you know, like drug kids.
Yeah, okay.
Drugsmans.
Yeah. Stoners.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, you know, sometimes we would be filming weird ass movies or just acting weird in Sherry's and building pyramids out of forks and stuff. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, you know, what have you.
The stuff the high school kids do to occupy their time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We ended up smoking cigarettes and Sherry's fairly regularly.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly when this all started, but I do remember that my friend Spencer and his brother Danny, Spencer was in my drama class. They had a bunch of these old military stink bombs, like military surplus, you know, like little glass ampules that if you broke them open, just fucking reeked of sulfur, and it was like very, very strong.
Oh, yeah.
And not just sulfur, like some of that weird, like necrotic kind of scent, you know.
Oh, I remember those.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were, it was like rotten eggs plus farts plus sulfur plus like, they were gnar, dude.
It was fucked. Yeah.
I, in 6th grade I think 6th grade, I smashed one in the back of the bus right before my stop and just hopped off. And all my friends told me it was awful. And if I recall, I think some of them got questioned about it and didn't throw me under the bus, but yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, but I almost got in some real trouble for that.
Yeah, I'll bet. It's like borderline terrorism.
Yeah, well, and I don't remember where I got them because, I mean, had to have been the last couple of years that kids had access to this sort of thing, you know?
Hey, I swear you could still, like, mail order those or, like, buy them in a military surplus store for a long time.
Yeah. I do not remember where I got them, but they were gnarly, dude. Not the kind of thing you would sell to kids nowadays.
I mean, who knows? You know,
Yeah.
You go to the right swap meet.
Yeah,
But,
right.
But yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, it's not like they're fucking selling them at Bi-Mart or whatever. You know?
Like the prank stuff that kids can buy now is nothing, you know.
Oh yeah,
get like shocker pens and stuff.
Exactly.
But, yeah.
So yeah, they had a bunch of these stink bombs, and we were at a performance at my high school. This is back when the theater was just in the cafeteria, so we're sitting in a bunch of like folding chairs in the cafeteria in front of this shitty old stage. And I think they were doing Romeo and Juliet. Maybe it was another Shakespeare play, but let's say it was Romeo and Juliet. And it couldn't have been Romeo and Juliet. Anyway, it was a Shakespeare play. Spencer was in it. And there was a scene where like he had to go trotting out across the stage, and his brother Danny gives me a fucking stink bomb, and he's like, "You should huck that on stage right before Spencer like walks out." And I was like, "That's genius." And so like, you know, Spencer starts walking, and I thought I'd timed it just right to like roll it out where he would step on it, because we were in the front row, and I just kind of like flicked it up there. But I flicked it a little too hard, and it just rolled to the back of the stage and didn't break.
Oh, shit.
But he saw me do it, and let's just say that I had to pay the price later. Love you, Spencer. But yeah, so that was kind of like the first step towards this fucking larger campaign of stink bombing that would come to pass. And you know, initially it was like, you know, you throw it at the ground and run, you know, like that's kind of like the floor.
Uh-huh.
But it started graduating up toward like taping them in places where they were likely to get broken, such as like underneath a chair leg or like what have you. And eventually Spencer got the idea to hit Mr. Campagna's room. Mr. Campagna was one of the math teachers. And, you know, we'd kind of graduated up to this level of like looking at different focal points for force on furniture and various other objects in the environment so that we could understand where we could place these things where they would be unobtrusive but also very easily broken just by people's day-to-day movements. And so we got into Mr. Campagna's room and like taped them to like the runners on the drawers for file cabinets and like under chair legs and wheels.
Oh yeah.
You know, just in various places where they would eventually be broken, and sure enough they were.
Wait, and so you just peppered them around this room?
Yeah.
Just waiting for just all these little time bombs, basically?
Yeah, because we knew when Mr. Campagna had his free period and he was never in his classroom, so we just could do whatever the fuck we wanted for about a full hour in there.
Oh, God.
And we made good use of that time.
Oh, man.
And so that was...
Was there a reason you picked on this teacher, or was it because he left his classroom?
I think it was mostly just because we had free access to the classroom and we knew a bunch of people who were in that class. He was also Spencer's math teacher, so that certainly had something to do with it. So yeah, that was the beginning of our kind of like ranks campaign. And it all started with the stink bombs in Mr. Campagna's room, and after that we kind of laid low for a little while because it was sort of like a big deal.
Yeah. Well, yeah, tell me about this. So, like, when they went off, like, what happened?
Well, we weren't there is the thing, you know? Oh. And we just kind of heard about it from people who were in the class, and they were just like, it was crazy. Like, we all had to leave.
Oh,
and, like,
okay.
Go outside. And, like, you know, they brought fucking people in, and we're, like, looking around and seeing, like, what it all was.
Yeah.
But they didn't find all of them, so, like, after they all came back inside, like, some more went off.
More would go off.
And, like, you know, he got really pissed off and, like, called the people from the office back. And, like, everybody had to go back outside.
Oh, man.
And, you know...
Was it just, like, kind of one incident on one day with, like, repeated things going off? Or did this pepper out throughout, like, a week or a couple weeks?
I want to say that there was, like, one or two that didn't go off that day. That, like... You know, later in the week or something, like he happened to open that drawer and crushed another one of them. Yeah. So, needless to say, this guy already kind of had some PTSD from the first outing.
Yeah.
And then I don't remember exactly which one came first. I think the Christmas prank was the next one. This one was actually on Mr. Sullivan, who's another math teacher, like just a couple rooms down the hall. This motherfucker was absolutely the Grinch who stole Christmas. Like,
yeah.
He hated Christmas. He would always refer to it as Xmas, like,
oh boy, yeah, okay.
You know, just couldn't fucking stand it. Didn't want to hear about it. Like, if you asked him anything about what he was doing for Christmas, he would give you some kind of mean fucking response.
Oh,
you know?
No.
And so, you know, like, what better way to say I love you than string some Christmas lights around every chalkboard in the room.
Oh shit!
And they were the little bulbs so that we could stick them in behind the chalkboard. This was absolutely Spencer's master plan. Like,
whoa!
He drove this one home. But like, yeah, you string them all the way around so that the lights are pointing in, so you can't see them. It's just like the wires going around the outside of the chalkboard. And thankfully, each chalkboard in the room had an outlet right below it, so you just fucking run the wire down to the floor, and then there was fake snow up above one of the ceiling tiles, like right in front of the door, and it was just slightly offset with like a string coming down from it. And then what was the rest of it? I think that was the setup, right?
Okay.
Like, we had one or two people on the fucking chalkboards, like, ready to plug the lights in. We had another person next to the fucking light switch in the classroom. And then, so Mr. Sullivan walks into the room and he stops. Someone hits the lights. The fucking Christmas lights get plugged in. Spencer wheels up a TV playing the final scene from A White Christmas. And right when he does, I don't remember if it was him or someone who was right next to Mr. Sullivan who pulled the fucking string on the ceiling tile and dumped all the fucking fake snow.
Oh, shit.
So he's standing there covered in fake snow with Christmas lights blinking all over this darkened classroom and the TV playing the fucking theme from It's a White Christmas.
Oh, man. That is fucking fantastic.
He was not pleased.
That's a proper fucking prank, man.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean, yeah, you know, someone was a victim there, and it was a curmudgeon.
Right.
And it feels fine to me.
Exactly. Fucking A. And so the next one after that was on Mr. Campagna again. And again, I'm not sure if, like, I'm mixing up the order on these ones. We might have hit Campagna again before we got Sullivan.
Oh, man.
I don't remember.
Well, so the fart bombs just sort of, like, gave way to this, like, let's start pranking the teachers.
Kind of, yeah. Because, like, I want to say, like, the heat was on us from Campagna, so we felt like we couldn't get in there again anytime soon. And so, like, we found out when Sullivan's free period was, and found out that he's never in his room either.
Oh, shit.
So, like, yeah. It was a whole thing. And, like, again, like, Spencer fucking did all the homework for this. Like, I was mainly just fucking helping him fucking pull it off. But yeah, so the next so Spencer had all these fucking RC cars, like little radio controlled cars, and he'd figured out that if you took the fucking wheels off of them, you could also pull off the steering arms, and they're basically just little robot arms that you can anchor to anything, and then they will move within a certain range, right?
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
And so he figured out, you know, if he attached one of them on a tape recorder in a certain position, he could just like move the steering knob on one of the RC controllers to make the little arms press play.
Oh,
right.
Nice.
So he could remotely start a recording somewhere.
Nice.
And he recorded his grandmother drunkenly singing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star and reciting various nursery rhymes and just kind of going on about this, that, and the other. And I want to say it was like an extended play cassette. Like it was at least 90 minutes on each side. And his tape recorder would automatically flip over.
Nice.
Like it could play both sides of a tape and just keep it on a loop.
Yeah.
And so one day, we're hiding out in the computer lab across from Mr. Campagna's room, and Spencer has taken the guts out of the announcements box. No, that's right. He didn't actually take anything out. He just pulled the wires out of the speaker and then put the tape recorder behind the speaker, put everything back.
Oh.
And then, you know, it had the robot arm on it. And so we're hiding out in the computer lab across the hall. Oh, dude, he was fucking good at this shit.
Yeah.
We're hiding out across the hall from Campagna's room. And right when the announcements start, he fucking starts the tape. And unfortunately, the volume on the tape recorder wasn't loud enough for anyone to really hear what was on the tape while the announcements were going. It just sounded like the announcements were kind of muted, but they could sort of hear something weird in the room, right?
Yeah.
At least, and this is the account given by Mr. Campagna to me. And then once the announcements were over, and like Mr. Campagna, we could see him like walking out into the hall and listening to the announcements out there, and then going back in the room, and then walking back out in the hall and listening, and going back inside and like scratching his head. And yeah, so after the announcements are over, like that's when like they can start to hear like Nana like saying some shit, you know, and we're just hearing them go, do you hear that? What is that? And he's like flipping the switch on the announcements box, and like one of them is to talk to the office, and I think like it would just like start a flashing light in the office, and so they'd try to talk to the classroom, but they couldn't because the speaker was disconnected. And so it just started this whole thing where he's like trying to call the office, and they're trying to call him, and like meanwhile Nana's fucking singing "Twinkle Twinkle Little Star," and he's just like slowly losing his mind. You know?
Oh man!
And he swears up and down that he tried. Like later, he they pulled the face off of the fucking speaker box and like determined what had happened.
Found the contraption.
And he tried to rewire it himself, and he said that no one could ever get it working again. That we had just broken it permanently. And I'm like, bullshit.
Yeah.
It's a fucking speaker. We disconnected the wires. Like,
yeah.
I fail to see how you couldn't reconnect that, but whatever. He was devastated.
Oh,
he was so enraged, and he grilled me. He was just like, did Knowles do this?
Oh no.
And I was like, no. And he's like, did Spencer do this? And I'm like, no. And he's just like,
He didn't think you did it though?
well, I mean, he must have known that I had something to do with it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, look, when you're a class of 30 kids, like, you know who did it. You can narrow it down, like, right off the bat, right?
I mean, it was a big high school-ish.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
You
like,
probably know.
I think he kind of knew, but he had no evidence, so
Right. Right.
Yeah, and so I think at that point, since the custodian got involved, he kind of like heard Campagna like bitching about Spencer and like wondering who it was, and so he just decided to approach us. And,
the custodian?
Yeah, Mr. Hickman. One of
funny.
the fucking finest individuals I've ever crossed paths with in my academic career. He approaches us and he's just like, "Hey guys, just want to congratulate you for your fine work. Just letting you know that if you need any help in the future, I'm here for you.
Yeah.
And I am not going to tell anyone.
Oh, dude.
Also, you don't even have to admit anything to me if you don't want to. But I will tell you that when I was going to high school, we went to high school in what is now the administrative building downtown, which is this cool old basalt building. It's like where they filmed the high school scenes from McKenna.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Anyway, he said that his senior class, when he was a kid there, had a lot of fun. And there was one time where some kids, well, they suspect it had to be the students, but no one ever figured out who did it. But somehow someone got a cow on the roof of the building.
Damn.
With all the doors locked, without making any marks on the clean floor. Like, it was as if they magically got it onto the roof. They could not figure out how they got it through the building.
That's great.
Right? And so he's like, I admire that kind of stuff, and if you need any help, I have keys to every room in the building.
Oh, man.
Like, oh my God, thank you.
So you guys got a man on the inside.
Yeah, but the sad thing is we never actually utilized it. Like,
that's almost too much, though.
Well, right.
And it's almost too easy, too, because it's like part of the genius is like figuring out these little, like,
yeah,
doing your whole Ocean's 11 plan.
Exactly.
Right? And it's like, well, if I just got keys to the kingdom, then
right. And I mean, also, like, how is he not going to be implicated if we use his resources for anything,
Right. So, yeah, you'd have to find a prank that, wouldn't implicate him, but also is still a challenge, and,
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, we definitely kind of, like, gave him the nod a few times when, like, stuff happened.
Well, plus you pulled off a couple great ones, and like the heat's on a little bit. Like, yeah.
So the next one,
oh, there was another one.
Oh, we're far from done here.
Oh, good. Oh, you just didn't utilize your boy. Yeah,
no, we just never brought him in. Yeah,
yeah.
But we thanked him for his service.
Yeah, yeah. At least you had someone sort of looking the other way for you.
Exactly. Well, and we knew that, like, the guy who had to clean up the mess didn't give a fuck. Which is ultimately the green light that we needed. And so the next thing we did was, I don't remember if it was Spencer or Rob, but one of those guys figured out that one of the games at the Aladdin's Castle arcade, it was where you roll ball down a hill into these various little slots, and there's one of them that's always like the jackpot or whatever. And we figured out if you just like start it from a dead stop in this specific spot and just like let it go, it would always hit that mark. And so we just started racking up fucking tickets on this thing. Like,
Nice.
Just fucking hitting the jackpot every time, getting like thousands of tickets and just dumping them all into bouncy balls.
Yes. Oh God, I love where this is going.
So Spencer,
This is always one of my fantasies.
Spencer also had access to the genie lift because he did a bunch of like rigging for like, performances and stuff.
Yes.
And like he was in the AV department. And so yeah, at some point he fucking jacked the genie lift and took it into the gym and rigged up this tarp on the fucking ceiling of the gym, like up above the lights where you couldn't really see it, and had it strung up so that like one corner of it was attached to one of the robot arms from the fucking RC car. So that, you know, he could just use the controls and like make the arm pull out of that corner of the tarp.
Oh my God.
And then of course we just put all the bouncy balls on top of the tarp.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
And so we had it all set up. There was going to be this assembly. And, you know, we were going to time it so that, like, once everyone was seated in the assembly, that's when the bouncy ball rain starts. But for some reason, they fucking canceled the assembly. And, like, not all of us heard about it. So we're all kind of in place in the gym, like, way up on these fucking bleachers that are all folded up. But we're close to the ceiling just so we can, like, see everything. And finally, like, somebody, I don't remember who, but somebody who was on the fucking team rolls in. They're just like, guys, they canceled the assembly. And we're just like, what the fuck?
Oh, man.
Like, oh, lame. And, like, the girls' PE class starts walking in. And they're, like, down on the gym floor, like, milling around, talking. We're just like, lame. Oh, well. And then all of a sudden, all the lights in the gym go out. And we're like, oh shit, what the fuck? Because we're way up on these folded up bleachers. Like, there's no real way down apart from climbing them like fucking Spider-Man. And so
like, because they're folded up. Yeah.
So we're just like, oh shit, we better stay put because it's fucking dark and like figure out what the fuck's going on. All of a sudden, the fucking girls' PE class starts screaming and like just fucking bolting in all directions. And we're like, what the fuck? And then we hear all these fucking bouncy balls.
The pitter patter of bouncy balls. Yes.
And Spencer swears to this day that he had nothing to do with it. That it must have just been some interference from the light fixtures up there. Yeah, and that like he doesn't know who turned off the lights. I suspect he is fibbing.
I suspect that it was a plan B. It was a yeah. Like, all right, no assembly. Fuck it. Let's do it anyway. I want to see this happen.
It's pretty great nonetheless.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because, dude, you can't risk waiting until the next assembly. Like, a lot of things could go wrong from you know,
oh, no
that
shit.
point.
I mean, like, you know...
If you want to unleash the balls, dude, like, you better just do it.
Yeah, it's, you know, because if somebody discovers that shit up there, it's like, you know...
Right, that's what I mean. Like, a lot of things could go wrong, you know?
So at least we got to surprise someone.
Yes, yeah. The least of which would be just like, you know, the string on the tarp broke in the middle of the night and just like no one got to witness anything cool.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now at least there's a story to tell.
Fuck, that's awesome though.
Right? That was a fucking good one. And there might be others that I'm forgetting, but there's one final one.
Oh yes.
Like we'd been talking about it for a while. It was like, man, we got to do like one last big fucking deal. Like we got to do something. Like the year's almost out. Rob, Spencer, like a bunch of the guys who are older than us were graduating, and so it was just going to be a few of us. And we were like, fuck, we got to put a bow on this somehow, you know. And so we discussed a lot of stuff. Like I came up with a plan to like use rope with knots at various lengths anchored in the middle of the roof, and then people on the knots with spray cans like painting a bullseye in a big fucking circle on the roof of our school.
That's cool.
I'm really glad we didn't go through with that one, just because at that point there hadn't been any school shootings, but there was like the year after that. Like, I think that was when Columbine went down.
Yeah,
so
would have been about right.
Yeah, I'm happy that we didn't paint a big target on the roof of our school. But
okay, sure.
But you know, it was fun planning it, and eventually we just kind of decided that like a bunch of us out on the roof in the middle of the night was still pretty easy to see, and
yeah,
it's also just not that funny. So whatever. We'd also talked about like various things that we could do to the school sign, like, you know, I think at some point we ended up putting just a traffic cone on top of it, just for the hell of it. But yeah, we and like mowing various things into the lawn. You know, like we came up with
that's a classic move.
Yeah, or like even just forking the entire football stadium.
Also a classic move. Yeah.
We did a lot of forking back in the day. And for listeners who don't know, that's where you put plastic forks into someone's lawn,
just bury like hundreds of them.
At various intervals.
Hyper annoying to get out of there.
We spelled out the words "believe" on someone's lawn.
Dude,
you know,
nice.
Just the usual things. But yeah, so we eventually came up with what I am really proud of, and that is making new handicap spaces in the school parking lot.
Sweet.
We bought a handicap stencil and some road paint, and one night we just fucking went to town, and even some of the reserve spots for teachers became handicap parking spaces.
Nice.
And the next day at school was so fucking choice. Like, no one knew that these weren't authentic. And so, like, teachers are freaking out because they're fucking spots.
Because they're reserved spots?
Now.
Yeah, dude.
And, like,
oh, man.
You know, just nobody knows what the fuck's going on. So everyone's just kind of respecting them, which is cool. You know, like, I'm glad that people respected that there were handicap spots.
Yeah.
And, like, it was this whole thing. And, like, some of them got painted over, some of them didn't. And so at the end of the day, we actually created more handicap parking at our school.
Well, and that's such a fucking hilarious move too, because then it's just this scramble of like, who authorized this?
Right?
Like, when did this happen? Just like nobody knows fuck all, right? Yeah, like the teachers clearly don't know anything. The administrators are like running around scrambling trying to figure it out. Like,
exactly.
Oh man, that is fucking great.
It was awesome. And I mean, I want to say that we knew which teachers' parking spots we made handicapped, and we made sure it was the assholes, but it might have just been random. I don't honestly remember. But until they repaved that parking lot, at least 2 of our handicap spaces remained handicapped, even though they were not designated as such by the school.
That's fantastic.
Felt pretty good.
Hell yeah. Now, was that like the quote-unquote senior prank?
Well, we weren't seniors, but Spencer and Rob and Chris and a bunch of our other drama friends were.
Oh, okay.
So, like, we wanted to help them fucking pull off one last big one.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. If I remember correctly, all years in my high school, the senior pranks got figured out. Like, everyone knew what the seniors were planning.
Right.
And they got shut the fuck down.
Lame.
Yeah, totally. And they were all dumb, though. Like, one of them was just, like, all the seniors were going to just, like, park all wonky, you know? Just, like, all over the lot. And it's like, all right, silly, but, like, whatever.
Yeah.
But they still got shut down, if I remember correctly. Yeah, man. I remember hearing the old legends of, like, old senior pranks and high school pranks and stuff. Actually, shout out to a friend and listener of the show, Steve. He told me a story once about when his dad was in high school in Colorado. And so the legend goes that, oh man, and I might be getting this wrong, but the legend goes that one school, I think it was, a Fort Collins one, like, went and mowed their letters into the other field school, you know.
Nice.
And then that school went and went to go burn their letters into another field school.
Damn.
But the gasoline, like, bled, and so what was supposed to be a C turned into a G. And so then people at that school thought it was Greeley that did it, and so they went and did something like they went and like burned Greeley's entire field, you know, and like, yeah, it was just this whole escalation. Yeah, totally.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact course of action on that, but I remember hearing that story. Yeah, we had like some ideas for some pranks. Also, a friend of the show, like in Rocky Mountain High School, our mascot was a Lobo, and we just had this big glass case with a stuffed wolf.
Oh shit.
And a friend of the show, Brett, always wanted to fill that with Jell-O. Either with or without the wolf in it, I don't remember exactly, but yeah, we started building schematics and plans for how to
how to refrigerate it,
how to pipe in that much Jell-O. I
love it.
But yeah, like we never got to pull off any pranks, and yeah, the year I left high school. Foreshadowing, I didn't walk. That's fine, dude. Wait till you hear this episode.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, the year I left was 1999, and obviously that was Columbine, and so
for sure
everything took a very serious change or turn after that. So, but man, oh god, I love hearing that you got to pull some legit pranks.
Fucking A, it was a lot of fun, man. And the cool thing too was Spencer had this fucking globe that I think he'd scavenged from the old drama classroom, and
also smart pranks, man.
Hell yeah,
that was fucking great.
Hell yeah. And he'd given it to Sean, and like Sean had his magic cards in it for a long time, and then like I don't remember exactly how it started, but Sean and I decided that we were going to each give half of the globe to our favorite sophomores, because like Spencer was a senior when we were sophomores, so we were like passing on the mantle kind of. And apparently they did the same thing, and those half globes have been passed on from one graduating class to like a sophomore every cycle.
Oh, that's awesome.
It continues to be this weird little like tradition.
Hell yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that.
And then Sean and I on our last I think it was the last day of school. No, it couldn't have been it was the last day of school. That's right. They had this big gambling night at the athletic club.
Oh shit.
They thought that would be a good way to get kids to not go out and just fucking party their brains out and maybe get hurt or whatever.
Right.
And so they're like, yeah, it's at the athletic club, there's no booze, like it's all fake money gambling, so it's like you're gambling to get fake money to buy raffle tickets with, and then they're gonna have a raffle.
Yeah.
And once we found out how lame it was, we were like, fuck this, we're gonna leave. And so we started to leave, and one of the administrators was like, hold on, if you leave you can't come back and you won't get to be part of the raffle. And we were like, oh, bummer. And I don't remember why, but like one of us got some fucking imp of the perverse impulse, and it was like, hold on, let's go back in there. And so we go up to like the fucking high roller floor where it's like they're fucking doing craps and blackjack and shit. And like I noticed that like some of the teachers who are running these games aren't being super careful about their stacks of money. Like, all the kids are on the other side of the table, so they're not like gonna reach over and just grab it, but like people are just walking by behind them the whole time. And so like using the skills that I learned on my paper route, I just did some quick 5-finger shuffle of some stacks of cash, and like we pretty quickly had millions of dollars in fake money. And just went up to the concourse that was looking over, or mezzanine or whatever, that was looking over the lower part of the athletic club, where they had all of the cash tables set up where you could buy into various raffles that they were doing. And we just started making it rain.
Oh, dude, yes.
And like one kid saw all the money in the air, like because it was raining for a minute before it like got all the way down. One kid looks up and sees all the money in there, and he's like, "Oh my god, free money!" And like just starts snatching bills out of the air. It was the fucking best. And like all these kids hear him yelling and just fucking start swarming in, and they're like, "Oh!"
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure it turned into a feeding frenzy, even for fake money.
Yeah.
Even for Monopoly money, people fucking slit their mother's throat to fucking grab some,
Right.
you know?
And it's all printer paper, so it floats really slow.
Yeah.
So, like, we were able to just get so much fucking cash airborne before we ran out.
Fuck, that's awesome.
And we just kind of fucking pieced out.
Yeah, now we're gone.
Yep, exactly.
And we would not like to get back in.
And then we went out in the woods and partied with our class president. And, like, honestly, it was one of the most wholesome high school parties I could imagine.
Yeah.
Well, at least probably the most wholesome high school party that I went to. Let's put it that way.
Uh-huh.
Like, everyone was just kind of chill. It was like, oh, you smoke weed? That's cool.
Right. Just laid back and
Like-
just like everyone being chill about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it was really nice. And, like, a buddy of mine was like, hey, I got this bottle of tequila. I'm probably not going to drink it. And I was like, damn, really? He's like, yeah, here you go. And I'm like, you got any weed? And he was like, actually, yeah. And I'm like, oh, what's up with that? And he's like, well, I mean, can you get me back? And I'm like, absolutely. And he's like, all right, here you go. So dude kicked me a fucking bottle of tequila and ate the weed. And Blake, if you're out there, thank you, man.
Hell yeah.
Sorry I never got you back.
That's awesome, man. Holy shit, that's great.
Yeah.
Man, so the bouncy ball thing really tickles me because we never did it, unfortunately, but we always had this fantasy because the mall in my hometown sort of was like kind of like a big egg shape.
Okay.
It's like, so you could just kind of walk a big circle, and down one side it was kind of just like lots of downstairs, but like long, you know, it's like long stretches and then down 2 steps and then long stretch and then down 2 steps, and then you round the tip of the egg and then it's like long stretch up 2 steps, all long stretch up 2 steps.
Okay.
And then the bottom of the egg was like the food court. But we always wanted to get just like, you know, just giant buckets full of bouncy balls and unleash them
Yes.
down the waterfall of like, you know.
Absolutely.
And it's just like they would go forever, you know? Like,
Hell yeah.
I don't even know what it was because, it had to have been. Well, I know that people would mall walk our mall, and it was like every round, like every once around was like, you know, let's say it was even a quarter mile, so each like length of it was like an eighth of a mile, so it's just like you just waterfall these bouncy balls down just like so long, they just go forever too.
Oh yeah, I could picture it, dude. That
But
sounds amazing.
alas, we never did it, and it's fucking lame.
Hey, you know, as long as they haven't demolished that mall, like
They have, dude. It's gone. It's fucking gone. Yeah, they turned it into like one of those big outdoor snooty shopping center places, and apparently it's failing. So
of course, those
Yeah.
fucking outdoor shopping places always fail in places where it's fucking wintertime.
yeah,
Like,
totally. Also, just,
Jesus.
you know, places like that aren't really successful anymore. Cause,
No, there's a reason why we built indoor malls.
yeah,
So
totally.
you didn't have to shop outside.
Totally. Oh man, pranks. Fucking love it.
Yeah, dude.
God damn it. I don't want to squander them here, but I've got some prank stories, so I can't wait to tell my
right.
my side of this.
Well, this is Pranks Volume 1.
Yeah, dude, for real.